670 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We have a friend on Facebook who comes in here, by the way, Mike Fallon. I'll just tell you who he is.
Yep.
And he's with one of the colleges in town, and he is on Facebook. Like, every time I turn around, he's in another country.
Yeah, he is, literally.
He went to Chernobyl.
Yes, he did.
He had to have a radiation detector or something like that. Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh. I have no interest in going to Chernobyl. But he definitely gets around. Was he in China or something?
Yes.
Someplace. He fell down the steps of a Buddhist temple. He was like, oh, my gosh. It's just... Okay.
And they laughed at him.
He said they laughed at him.
Yeah.
Stephanie Oswald has been our go-to lady when it comes to traveling. I love Stephanie. I like paying. I like living vicariously through people who travel. That's what I think I like the most. Stephanie is the travel girl. I have a picture of her on the streaming thing we're doing right now. Let me show you her on the cover of the magazine right there on Travel Girl magazine. She is the travel girl. She's an award-winning international travel expert, and she's going to talk to us about summer travel 2017. Where do you want to go? Robin, where do you want to go?
Oh, Paris.
Paris?
I've never been. That's my bucket list thing.
I'd like to see it also. I've never gone.
Oh, you've got to go. You've got to go. Paris is wonderful. Definitely one of the best places.
Good morning, Stephanie. When is the good time of year to go to Paris?
Good morning. Good afternoon. Well, what day? Where are
I don't know. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you, Stephanie?
You got me all flustered because you said Paris. And what is the best time to go to Paris? Any time is the best day. I have a saying, any day in Paris is better than a day in the United States. And I love the United States, but Paris is just, it's
What
magic.
is it?
And
Is
I'll
it
tell you what, okay.
the food?
Honestly, fall is a good time to go. No,
Fall.
the atmosphere, the architecture, the feeling. Fall because you'll avoid the crowds. Anytime is great, but I went last October, actually, brought my daughter for her 10th birthday, and we rented an apartment in the Marais, and it's just being there in September, October, even into November, before you get to the big holidays. That's a good time to go because that's when, the locals are back. A lot of people say, well, go in August because that's when the whole country is on vacation.
Right,
but you don't want to do that because a lot of places are closed. It's also can be very hot and sticky. And also you want to be there when the locals are there because that's how you get the authentic experience. And you go to the markets and you travel to Versailles. But there's so much to do there.
How long is the flight? Let's say you would take off either from New York, Miami. How long is it to Paris, let's say? Is it 4 hours, 5 hours? How long does it take?
Yeah, I think I'm going to say 6 hours. It's about 6, but I'm coming from New Orleans, so maybe it is 5 from New York. Depends, and it changes. It's usually an hour shorter one direction.
Okay.
So
I have a reason. I have a reason.
That's less than a day.
I have a reason for wanting that number. Here's why. Because I'm not a travel expert, but if I'm going to go to Disney World and stand 6 hours in line for the Avatar thing that they've got, I could be in Paris by the time I got to that ride.
That's right.
Did you see that in the news? There was a 6 hour line. Who wants to wait 6 hours? That's crazy.
I think that's absolutely ridiculous. The only thing I would wait in line 6 hours for would be Bruce Springsteen tickets. That's probably about it for me. But
You'll love to hear that.
I can understand that because a Springsteen concert is 4 hours long. But how long is the Avatar ride? It's a 5-minute ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that goes in the category of crazy things we do for our kids, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes. I think that's exactly right, yeah. You're in New Orleans right now?
I am in New Orleans right now, yep. I've got a lot of adventures planned for the summer, and I have some ideas for you guys, everything from safari to whitewater rafting to sailing. There's all kinds of things that people are doing to kind of push the envelope this summer and say, hey, I want to live in the present. And the way to live in the present, not so much waiting in line, but actually being on some of these adventures when you're so thrilled, you're getting that adrenaline rush, and you're not worried about politics.
I want to go on a petting. I want to go on a petting zoo safari. I don't want to kill any animals.
Oh, no. Well, you don't have to kill animals on safari.
Oh, you don't?
There's some great No, and you can get a really fantastic wildlife experience. We've got one on the other side of the lake here in New Orleans. There's one Fossil Rim Wildlife Center in Texas that's great. And then also, Myrtle Beach has a safari that I've been going there for years, but I didn't even know about it till recently. It's a 50-acre preserve, and they've been doing this since 1983. It's the Institute for Greatly Endangered and Rare Species, tigers for short. And you can take this wildlife encounter tour where you can see tigers and elephants and wolves and leopards and monkeys, and it's really, really cool. But it's not cheap. It's a few $100s. But, compared to $10,000 to go to Africa, you're going to get a...
Yeah. Plus, you bring
really cool.
You bring a camera, not a gun.
Yeah.
Exactly. But here, I'm going to tell you something, Larry, because, people think, I don't want to spend the money. And I don't care whether you're talking about whitewater rafting or going on the safari or a lot of these activities where they have professional photographers. And a lot of people put up their nose and say, I don't want to spend the extra money. But here's my tip, which might go against the grain. Budget for the professional photographer. You know why? Because then you can enjoy the experience. You can live in the moment, and you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, am I getting the right picture? Am I getting the right selfie? Because let the professionals do it. Then you can enjoy your...
You mean you hire a photographer to walk with you?
No, most of the time they have photographers that are on staff.
Oh, I
so
see.
For example,
I see. Okay. Yeah.
But people don't want to spend the money. They'll say, can we take your picture? And everybody's like, no, I don't want to spend any extra money. But you know what? How much more is it going to be? And for you to spend the time enjoying your activity rather than worrying about...
And then I like...
It's a good idea.
That's a really good idea. And then you end up in the pictures. Usually the one with the camera doesn't end up in the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
I just think it's a good investment. For example, you're going to spend an extra $100 if you do that safari tour, but you get a CD and a DVD and a whole bunch of still pictures.
That's a neat idea. I love that idea. That's a really good idea. Nobody in my family is going to remember Uncle Larry because guess who took the pictures? Uncle Larry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me.
Always.
Me, in other words. I'm not in the pictures. Everybody said, look at all of us there. I said, I was there too.
You brought up whitewater rafting, and even though we live in Florida, I know that the northern part of Florida into the southern part of Georgia has opportunities to whitewater raft, so you don't have to drive all the way to Colorado to do that, or Tennessee.
No, absolutely not. And, that's the thing. There are a lot of great local adventures. And, people say, well, you can do, and a lot of water parks, too, to get you in the spirit. But if you want to try the real thing, I think it's important to get out into the wilderness. One of the places that I tried recently was in West Virginia, and it's Adventures on the Gorge. And this is a resort that's kind of got every adventure you can imagine, from zip lining to whitewater rafting on Class 5 rapids, stand-up paddleboarding, rock climbing. You can do anything, but the rapids were really the highlight for me because this is Class 5. Now, they go on a scale from 1 to 6. So if you're doing Class 5, that is pretty serious stuff. And you're with a guide, so you got to trust your guide. But, it's the first time in a while that I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm doing something, and it's that fear but yet thrill. I'm doing something that could kill me, but
right.
so exciting. And we got to do this as adults, not just the theme parks, but do an adventure that's going to make you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm doing something I've never done before. And it's a freedom because it does really bring you into the present.
Really? So did it open up other ideas on things you could do that kind of made you on the edge? Do you feel a sense of safety though, like when there's a guide? But you hear these crazy stories, like the guy with the blimp over the U.S. Open, right? He fell out. The whole blimp fell down.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And we were joking as we were going down the river, saying, people think, there are rapids that you can ride at Disney and Animal Kingdom, and those are wonderful. But when you're out in nature, you need to realize it is serious. Our tube, I will say, our raft did not dump over, but other people did. Nobody was hurt or injured, but it can be really it can be frightening. But I think it's important to do things. Now, I will never bungee jump, but I wish I had the guts to do it. My brother has been skydiving, and I look at his pictures and I think,
oh my gosh, yeah.
I want to do it, but I'm afraid,
My son has gone skydiving, I think 3 times now, and it scares me. I hate it. I tell him, don't do it anymore. He's 31. I can't tell him what to do. But he does it, and I say, please don't do it anymore. I like doing it, Dad. I know, but, you know.
When I go... Well, when I go, on vacation or something, I tend to overpack. How can you get me to be more consolidated on my packing? My mom's a great packer, but
great packer.
I take so much stuff.
I love that question, Robin. Okay, well, so the 2 biggest mistakes people make on vacation are overspending and overscheduling. But you're talking about overpacking.
Yes.
That's an easy one to fix. Okay, number 1, just remember that at the end of the day, all you really need to have on you is identification and access to cash. So whatever you forget, you can buy when you get there. Don't stress. We pack too many clothes. When you're going on vacation, unless there's something specific, like you're going to go horseback riding, so you have to have your boots, or you have to have a certain kind of long pants so that you can go riding, or you need your bathing suit. But at the end of the day, even if you forgot your bathing suit, you can buy one. So don't stress about it, number 1. And number 2, think about buying things that are bulky at your destination. So if you're traveling with the kids, don't pack the stroller, don't pack diapers. Buy them when you get there. Take a quick trip. And again, this is about budgeting your time. Make time to go to the local Walmart or, drugstore when you get there. Don't try to pack everything. It just stresses you out, and it just makes it just, at the end of the day, you're not going to spend that much more money if you buy it on location than you are to buy it at home and pack it. And I think, that's something people think in their heads, I got to bring everything on the vacation,
right.
But you don't really.
You can't bring your mouthwash. They won't let you.
No, I can't get on a plane.
You can buy that little tiny one that's like one use, but that's about it. So you got to go to your local. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say another thing, Robin, if you're worried about fashion sense, I'm telling you, hats and scarves are the key. So you can, and it's true. The old myth that is true is that if you bring all of one color, so if you've got a lot of black or you've got a lot of brown or whatever your favorite color is, maybe it's red and purple, who knows, but if you've got the same color and then you bring different hats or different scarves, you can really make a difference on your vacation. And just, it's not... Usually, unless you're taking some kind of style-centric vacation, usually you want to bring something that's comfortable for you, and just don't stress out about it.
What's your thought on rent a car versus cab versus Uber? Which one of those do you think is the one you would go to?
Well, it really depends on your destination. So, for example, if I'm going to a big city, Chicago, New York, I'm going to use Uber or a cab. I'm not going to rent my own car. If I am flying to the city but then going upstate, then I'm going to rent a car because I know I'm going to a place where in order to get around I need my own vehicle. Also, like here in New Orleans, we have streetcars, but we don't really have any great public transportation. Like in Boston, you can ride the T everywhere, and you don't need a car. Absolutely not. In New York City, you do not need a car. So it really, really does depend on where you're headed to. I definitely use Uber. I use Uber a lot when I'm on trips, but usually just for quick rides here and there. But usually in the bigger cities, if I'm in a hurry and I don't want to take public transportation. But
what is the T?
If you're going to be in the T? The T is the subway system in Boston, and it's fantastic. There's the red line, the green line. The T, it can take you all the way up to up to the beaches in Swampscott and Salem. The T goes everywhere. It's fantastic. It's almost as good as the New York transportation system, subway system. Also, like in Paris, when you go to Paris, Robin, you do not need a car because it's nice if you have a friend with a car who can drive you out to Versailles. But the reality is that the metro system in Paris is so efficient and wonderful and can take you everywhere.
Did you happen to see the news article about the kid who was putting stickers in the airport that looked like electrical outlets?
In Miami.
Oh, was that in Miami?
Miami Airport.
It was at the airport. I don't know if he got in trouble or not, but it was funny because you watch people. It's just a sticker, but on the wall. It looks like an outlet, and people trying to plug in their phone, and it does nothing.
That's funny.
He was trying.
That is really funny.
Yeah, he was stuck for some reason, and he was bored, and I guess he had these stickers on him, so he said, you know what, this is going to be fun. I think he planned it, to be honest with you, so.
How do you handle the places where they say when you go there on vacation, don't drink the water? What do you have to know when you arrive at your destination to stay safe like that and not get ill?
Well, the number one thing would be follow your gut. So if you're thinking, okay, even going to Mexico, if you're staying at a resort, if you're staying at a nice resort, you're probably going to be fine. But if you go off the resort, and this is for Jamaica, any place that has clearly defined lines of which is you're on resort property, and then all of a sudden you're out in the local area. And it's not so much just about the water; it's also your body's not used to whatever they use on their plants or vegetables. So that's why you just want to be careful, because again, you don't want to spend your vacation either in the hospital or in your hotel room sick. So just using your common sense. I mean, I always say that one of the most important things to pack in your suitcase doesn't take up any room, and that's common sense. So making sure that you just don't try and be like, hey, I'm going to try and I'm going to drink the water just to prove that I can.
So where are you going? You have any plans for the summer? Where are you heading?
Oh my gosh, I have a bunch of plans. I'm going to go to Cape Cod at the end of the summer, one of our favorite beach destinations. I'm headed to China in July.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. And lots going on here in New Orleans.
Been there before? Have you been to China before?
I have. I have not been to this section. I've been to Guangzhou, and I've been to Hong Kong, and I've climbed the Great Wall of China, which was definitely on my bucket list. But this time I'm going to explore some temples, tea fields, and just
what is
some more out.
What is the biggest misconceptions that Americans have about China before they ever get there? Like, did you have them? Were you as much a part of that as I would have been?
Well, I think, when I went there, I was working with CNN. It was a while ago. And I think my biggest misconception was I didn't realize, even though you look on the map and you see how big it is, it's way bigger than you even imagine. So getting from one place to another, and one thing, for example, if you're going to go to the Great Wall of China, people don't realize this. There are more than one location. There are multiple locations to go walk on the wall. So we went to two of them, because the first one we went to, I actually was disappointed. I thought, oh, this isn't as scenic as I thought it was going to be. So we went to another one, and that one was awesome. I mean, it sounds terrible to say, but it's the same thing with the Eiffel Tower. If you think your whole life, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see the Eiffel Tower, and then you get there and you have this thing in your head.
Right,
so you want to make sure that it and so that was one thing. Just definitely that's where having a good tour guide.
Making me jealous. I want to go.
What kind of advice do you give people who have special needs and they're going traveling, like people with wheelchairs, oxygen machines, things like that?
That is such a fantastic topic. And it's interesting you ask about that, because something that we just wrote about in our latest digital issue of Travel Girl magazine is the one area that's gotten a lot of attention is autism, children with autism. And there is a community on the southern end of Myrtle Beach called Surfside Beach, and it was named the first autism-friendly city in the country.
Wow.
And they've started something called the Champion Autism Network, and CAN for short. But this one woman who has an autistic child, she's kind of been on a mission, and now even at the Speedway, which if you think about NASCAR, I mean, what is more loud and sensory overload than NASCAR? They have a way for kids with autism, to experience racing without that overload of sounds and sights. So that's the type of thing. And also at the Myrtle Beach Airport, there's a room where kids with autism or special needs can go to kind of, regroup before they get on the plane, or just kind of regroup after the plane. There's a playground with more than $3 million of ADA-approved equipment, and it's for kids with all kinds of disorders. So, and that's free and open to everyone. So I think knowing, number one, that wherever you're going, and I mean, this is just that the Surfside community is just one wonderful example, but places all over, they do have accommodations for kids and adults with disabilities, but this is where it's even more important to do your homework. So I would say, getting online, looking on the tourism board websites, but also calling the hotel or the rental company or whatever attraction you're going to, and just be very clear with them, my child has this, or my partner, or I have this issue. I need to make sure that there's a wheelchair ramp. I need to make sure, how long am I going to be in this elevator? How long, what can I do? And a lot of times they have special things, but you don't know if you don't ask.
Let's take a phone call. Stephanie Oswald is our guest. She is the travel girl. She's calling in from New Orleans, which is home for her, but she doesn't stay home much, according to what I'm looking at here. It looks like you get all over the place. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Stephanie.
Hey, I tuned in late, travel girl. I hear, first of all, those comments that you made for families affected by autism, for the families, especially the parents, the siblings. That is so wonderful to hear. What a beautiful help and support. What magazine do you put out? And I heard a couple things on your bucket list, but one of the most fabulous places I've ever been to is the Cinque Terre in Italy, and I wonder if you were ever there. And so I just want to find, and what is the magazine you're with, and I'll hang up. Thanks so much.
Great, thank you.
Sure. The magazine is Travel Girl magazine. Our website is travelgirlinc.com, and we've got Zahi Tellez on our current cover. She's a fabulous chef from Mexico, and we take you to Hong Kong, El Paso, Deer Valley, all kinds of great stuff. And you asked me about Cinque Terre. I have not been there, and I have been all over Italy and all over Europe, but that and Pompeii is actually still on my bucket list for Italy. So I'm glad to hear that gets a vote. But yeah, I really, what a fabulous country that is. And when you go to Paris, you need to kind of take the train and go over to Rome and explore there too, if you have time.
What do you have a favorite time of day to arrive? Like, would you rather arrive in the morning?
Well, you know what? A lot of times you don't have a choice, but the best thing to do is arrive in the morning and then don't go to sleep. They get right on the time zone.
Stay moving, yeah.
Yeah, that is key. And also just try to get some sleep on the plane. I mean, I know people say it's so hard, but, there are things you can do. Take your melatonin or take your, Tylenol PM. Bring an eye patch, the kind of the sleep mask that you can put over your eyes. Even if you're not staying in first class, you can bring that yourself. And have a neck pillow. Invest in a good neck pillow for $25 and get yourself a little plane.
That is a really good idea. So, any Father's Day traveling for you? You're staying home. Is your dad still alive, or?
Well, actually, yes, he is. And funny. See, you guys, since you're in Orlando, I guess I can say this, and he won't hear. We are actually flying up to surprise him for Father's Day.
Oh,
where is he? Where is he?
Doesn't know, but New York, upstate New York.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have a good time.
And how about people that travel with their pets? Should they travel with pets or leave them home?
Oh, see, that's a very hot topic because I have my personal opinion and then my professional opinion. My personal opinion is you shouldn't stress out your animals because you want to travel. So I think if you're going to, really care for your pet, a lot of times the best thing to do is to put them in a boarding facility and not stress them out. Now, a lot of people get mad at me when I say that, but the reality is unless you have a tiny little animal that can sit in your lap, I would worry too much about, I've heard too many nightmare stories of animals being put in the storage and just that they're scared. Even if they're safe, they're still scared. So my vote is let them take a staycation while you're taking your vacation. That's my vote.
Stephanie, you would not believe how many people I see here in Ocala bringing their horse with them. They have horse trailers all over the place. It just every time I stop at a light, and you know what you see? A horse butt. It's just unbelievable how many people bring their horses with them.
Okay, now that's funny. I had a horse growing up, but I never traveled with my horse, but I love to go on vacation and go horseback riding. So you can do that. Rent somebody else's pet when you're on vacation.
There you go.
No, but seriously, Robin,
yes,
there are books out there that are dedicated to traveling with your pets. And one of the best gifts that I gave a friend of mine, she had 2 golden retrievers, and she traveled everywhere with them. She did a cross-country trip with them, and I gave her, Fodor's has a guide that's all about hotels that are pet-friendly. So if it is important to you and you're road tripping, that's great. Then I say take the pets and make sure you travel in places that are pet-friendly. Follow the rules, though, because it's not fair to people who, maybe your kid has an allergy to pet hair, and if you put your pet in a room that wasn't supposed to have a pet, and then somebody's kid is there who is allergic to pet hair, that could be a problem. So follow the rules. But definitely, I can't imagine how much fun it must be to go hiking with your own pet in, a national park or along the beach.
Good
somewhere.
point. Yeah, I think that would be fun. Stephanie, it's always fun having you on the air. Thank you for being on with us. The website I went to while you were talking, travelgirlinc.com, and you'll see everything we're talking about, and then get excited about traveling. Stephanie, have a great Father's Day weekend. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
Thanks, you guys. Take care, Robin and Larry. Talk to you soon.
All right, we'll be right back.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws